communities to talk about national security issues. But I know that we care about small businesses. We care about our health care. We care about the economy just as much as everyone else. And we need a federal government that understands that they need to look at us as Americans who are contributing and care about other issues, and not only come and talk to us when they have national security issues or questions or complaints.
Thank you. Nancy, same question. Would you like me to repeat the question?
Sure. Okay. Sorry.
All right. So it's just been disclosed that under a sensitive program called Quiet Skies, the TSA has had federal air marshals following ordinary U.S. citizens who aren't suspected of a crime or on any terrorist watch list. What's your position on this and similar domestic surveillance programs of U.S. citizens?
Okay, I mentioned I run 4 times for office. I don't think I mentioned my first race, which was in 2004, where I started progressive radio because I believed that we needed to affect public opinion, and got talked into running for an open Senate seat. My pollster said there was a guy who was pretty good, but they pulled his name and he had 0 chance of winning. And I said, what's his name? And they said, Barack Obama. So I lost POTUS proudly, and he came here in 2006 and endorsed me and called me his sharpest opponent. He and I were the only 2 that opposed the war in Iraq before the war in Iraq. And if you go to my website, you will see at a different debate, somebody said just he had, and he stopped and he said, no, Nancy Skinner also opposed the war in Iraq. This was an era, the terror post 9/11 was directed at the Muslim community. And the Patriot Act, there was only one person who voted against the Patriot Act, and that was Russ Feingold, God bless him. Because the fear was stirred up about an entire religion because the acts of a few radicals. And so we understood that. And I think that Donald Trump, writ large, this whole immigration crisis is Donald Trump, Steve Bannon, and that Stephen Miller in a room saying, how can I whip up my right-wing base? Fear of others that don't look like us, fear of Muslims, fear of Mexicans. The crisis, there is no massive immigration crisis. A Bloomberg article just pointed out the Mexican crisis of the border ended 4 decades ago. I mean, over 4 decades has now reversed itself. This is just about getting people angry and hating people that don't look like them. So no, absolutely, I do not believe in these surveillance programs. I think we should move to quantum computing so that we cannot be attacked by the Russians as they did and are doing in this election, because quantum computing is the only way we can do this. I think we must speak up, not just Muslims speaking up for Muslims, but white chicks like me speaking up for Muslims, because every American has to speak up. When he uses dehumanizing terms like infestation, we know how history has shown that it has turned out to a very, very dark place. And I think Donald Trump and this party is leading us there. And I, for one, as your congresswoman, will stand proudly for you, with you, for all civil rights and protections.
Thank you, Nancy. All right, so final question. And Fairuz, I believe you will start us off again. As you know, the U.S. Supreme Court has ruled on the constitutionality of Proclamation 9645, often referred to as the Muslim ban. However, to date, the American public has been given very limited information on the specifics of key aspects of that program, or of that policy, including what extreme vetting means and how the waiver process referred to in that policy is being administered. What, if any, role should the U.S. Congress have in overseeing this policy?
Well, I think we all know that the Muslim ban is just a complete disaster. It's completely 100% a racist program, and that it was a very sad day for me when the Supreme Court made the decision to uplift it. And so really the first thing we need to do is figure out how we can do everything we can, both in Congress and as advocates and activists, to overturn this. And the scary thing about it is that what it showed me when the Supreme Court upheld it is that the courts aren't going to protect us anymore. We need to elect leaders in Congress, we need to flip the House, and we need to put people in there to protect us. But not just anyone. We need people who understand this issue. In December of 2016, the U.S. House of Representatives passed an anti-refugee resolution. This was signed by 46 Democrats. This was the precipice for the Muslim ban. This was the test that the Republicans used to see if they could get a Muslim ban passed. And it passed. And 46 Democrats signed it. Because what they said is that they didn't understand enough about refugees, they didn't understand enough about the vetting process. And this is our problem, is that even when we think we have people on our side, even when we think we have people who understand and who are going to be advocates for us, they're not willing to make politically difficult decisions and blame it on the I don't know enough when they have every tool in their power to go learn more. And what I learned in 2016 is that it's not enough just to have Democrats, it's not enough just to have people who say that they support us and show up at our mosques and in our communities. We need people who truly understand our issues, who can understand and talk about the vetting process,